Hello there, gamerinos and gamerinas. Welcome to UnicornStorm. This is Rady, and today I'm taking a look at Foamstars. Toy Logics and Square Enix Splatoon-alike. Isn't it funny how both Microsoft and Sony just recently released a clone of one of Nintendo's popular formulas on their subscription service? And both got into some controversy relating to AI content. One because of unsubstantiated rumors, and the other because of tone-deaf statements. Well, I guess in both cases, tone-deaf statements have been made. But yeah, Foamstars is a chaotic, family-friendly shooter, more objective-based than a pure deathmatch. Though there's plenty of killing in this game, or chilling as the game likes to refer to it, because you don't actually murder each other in this game. This is supposed to be a party where everyone is having fun. You blast each other with bubble guns, cover each other in foam, and chill those that get too heated up, to get closer to winning the objective. Your foam also covers the ground and enables you to move faster in it and even stylishly slide through it on a surfboard. The opposing team's foam, on the other hand, massively slows you down and even hurts you. Yeah, this is a lot like Splatoon, even if the people involved don't like to admit it. But other than in Splatoon, not the amount of color, or in this game's case, foam, decides which team wins the match. Instead, the team that first achieves the objective wins. Depending on the game mode, this is achieved differently. But before I get into what makes this game unique, or at least in how it differs from Splatoon, let me mention something else it has in common with Nintendo's Squid Kid shooter. While the meat of the game is online matches, there's also somewhat of a campaign, in where you have to defend the city of Bath Vegas, great name by the way, from these bubble animal thingies. This one's not that much worth talking about though, and it does get a bit mindless. You only play point defense missions where you need to survive a bunch of waves of increasingly stronger enemy hordes. In the main campaign you play solo missions with any of the colorful characters, and in squad missions you do the same, but with 3 other people. Sometimes an enemy has a fun quirk that forces you to strategize a bit more, but it never gets too crazy. It's not so easy that you could turn off your brain completely, but it's not really engaging either. I guess hard mode requires more teamwork, but then you should play with friends and not randos. And at least the squad missions get a bit more interesting than the solo missions, with the rewards you get after every wave that change up the shooting a bit, with not just stat boosts but also extra abilities like mines or turrets and the like. But as I said, this isn't really a mode that keeps you engaged for long. It doesn't even really tie into the main portion of the game, other than letting you get a feel for your character's weapons and abilities. And you need to get a feel for them, because this game is not just a Splatoon-like, it's also a hero shooter, similar to Team Fortress or Overwatch. Every character has a unique weapon, 2 special abilities and an ultimate, and they all play very differently. The basic moveset is the same, but one character has rapid fire, another only burst fire but can charge up the shot to create a bouncy bubble, another has a shotgun or a precision rifle. Special abilities can either be some area effect attack, some are used for movement, some are throwables, some a turret, some are a hybrid of these effects. But there are only a handful of different heroes and you can't double pick, so more often than not, the character you want to play is blocked by another player and you have to switch. Come on, either give me more heroes that fulfill similar roles, or let me double pick. Overwatch was ingenious with the option to swap characters and counterpick mid-battle, to offset any unfair advantages due to some character imbalances. And oh man, it really feels like these heroes aren't properly balanced. Some abilities just demolish you, while others come off as so situational they're almost useless. But at least in this one regard, the game improves on one of Splatoon's weird design decisions. in that it shows you your whole team and lets you compensate for gaps in your composition before the match starts. so you don't have to enter a match blindly. So at least there's that. But I do hope the game gets more heroes later down the line, so that you don't have to pick leftovers in most of your matches. The different attacks sure are creative. Most shots are giant spheres that float or bounce around, and special abilities recharge fast, so it only takes a few seconds for the battlefield to dissolve into complete and utter chaos. And because of that, the game actually requires a lot of tight teamwork. You can find yourself in the middle of countless bubble projectiles and surrounded by the enemy's foam in a matter of moments, with opposing players on all sides closing in on you. And the nature of this gameplay style makes it nigh impossible for you to retreat, while the enemies have it even easier to corner you completely. You need to work together, focus your fire, time your reloads, to cover the ground in your team's foam and prevent the enemy from stealing your territory. When you lose all your health, you're trapped in a ball of foam and only have a few fleeting seconds until you get automatically chilled. But your teammates can save you by sliding into you and even charge their ultimate a bit faster with this. But enemies can also slide into you and immediately chill you, taking you completely off the board for a few seconds and charging their ultimate quite a bit, and it has you burst into even more foam, which aids the enemy's team and hurt yours even more. So yeah, the core gameplay loop is a blast. I wouldn't say it's as good as Splatoon's, but still a lot of fun, and I guess better for shorter matches. And matches can be really short in this game. At times I had to queue for 2 or 3 minutes just to play for 30 seconds, which isn't all that great. And these queue times are the norm, sadly. At least in my region, which is Europe, I guess. One time I had to wait for 15 minutes before I got kicked out of the queue, and then the match type was out of the rotation. Splatoon has set match times after which a winner is decided, which ensured that you always played for a good while before having to queue for a match again. That is, when the connection wasn't garbage. But this game ends a match as soon as one team has achieved the match objective. So an even battle can last for quite a bit, while a difference in skill level results in a match that's decided just after a few seconds. It also encourages players to game the system. You see, this here is another microtransaction-riddled, battle pass-corrupted corporate greed fest, where you gain XP from matches to increase your level. And I hate that all these games misuse this RPG mechanic. Your level doesn't represent proficiency, it's just a system to arbitrarily gate off cosmetics disguised as an RPG mechanic. And some people, I guess due to some good old fear of missing out, just abuse this system and try to unlock all the goodies of a particular season as fast and as boring as possible. Sadly, I got matched up quite a few times with players who purposefully threw the match immediately. My guess is that they took turns letting the other team win to quickly farm XP. And they played the mode that let them lose the quickest, by jumping off the arena as soon as the match started. Don't know how they organized themselves, maybe they joined a public match as a party, if that's possible. It sucks and just wastes my time. Splatoon's set match times discourage behavior like that, because if you have to play for 3 minutes no matter what, you might as well play to win. A report button for behavior like this would be really helpful. But when you get an honest match going, it is really fun. The main game mode that seems to always be available is Smash the Star, a 4 vs 4 deathmatch, with a twist. You need to shoot and chill your opponents often enough until one of them, according to the game the team's best player, gets declared their team's king or star player, kinda like in dodgeball, and chilling the king immediately wins the game. In my first ever match, I became king for some reason, only after a few seconds, and then got chilled a few seconds later, because the atrocious matchmaking pit us against much higher ranked players. But yeah, if the teams are evenly matched, this one offers some good back and forth. You have to defend each other, increase your territory and try to isolate opposing players from their team, try to lure out their king without taking too many losses and then go on an all-out offense to deal the finishing blow. Having your teammates' backs and rescuing them whenever possible is the key to success in this mode. The other modes are on a rotation that changes every hour or so. One of them is Rubber Duck Party. It's a payload escort. Your team has to reach the rubber duck in the middle of the arena, capture it and protect it while it slowly moves towards the enemy's goal. This mode is completely symmetric. There's no attacking and defending team. Both teams try to capture or recapture the duck and invade the enemy's goal. Now in other games, the closer the payload is to the target destination, the greater the defender's advantage gets, because they spawn closer to it than the attackers and by that can get faster back into the fight. But since you can cover the arena in foam, this doesn't really hold true in this game. Your teammates can catch up to you pretty quickly, and the duck itself is a good vantage point to even cover the ground in front of it in foam. So defenders get slowed down and even hurt while trying to approach the payload. This mode is all about efficiency. Quickly get rid of all enemies near the duck and then secure the perimeter around and in front of the payload. When you stand atop the duck, instead of shooting and by that defeating enemies or covering the ground in foam, you can opt to dance, which slowly charges a speed boost for the duck, which in turn makes you a sitting duck. Not the deepest mechanic, but it adds a bit of risk-reward decision making. The other mode in the rotation is Happy Bath Survival, another unique take on the deathmatch formula. Only 2 players of each team are in the arena, while the other 2 are on platforms above the arena, supporting their teammates. Again, kinda like in dodgeball. The supporter's job is to mainly claim territory for their team and cut off the enemy's escape route, while the combatants need to defeat both enemies before either of them can respawn. First team to win 2 battles wins the match, with supporters and combatants swapping roles each turn. Sadly, this was the mode that a lot of players only played to throw the match, so I couldn't really experience it at its fullest. Which is such a shame, because I think this could be the mode I'd enjoy the most. Now, after a few level ups, I collected some currency to buy stat upgrades, which immediately annoyed me. I don't like the notion of upgrading my stats permanently in a match-based competitive game. Why should players have an in-game advantage over others just because they played for longer? This isn't an RPG. It's a party shooter. But then I realized that these upgrades were just for the campaign mode, so all's well, I thought. But then I discovered the gem packs you randomly unlock with another currency, which actually do add stat boosts and bonuses to your loadout. So yeah, lower ranked players do get punished just for getting later into the game than others. I can't tell for sure just how big the advantage is, but in my opinion it should be 0. The only advantage players should have from spending more time with the game is experience. Not experience points, actual playing experience. But I guess this is once again just me being weird, since some highly popular, highly competitive games are guilty of the same noob, unfriendly design. So there must be a market for this. I'm not sure for how long I'll stick with this game, but for now, I'm having a ball. I really enjoy the core gameplay loop and also the game's style. Character models are a bit generic, even with all the superfluous detail, but the whole disco presentation, both in aesthetic as well as in the soundtrack, really speaks to me. Splatoon had more of a skater vibe. This here is a party, and it works really well for what the game is going for. And building up your little foam heaps and sliding through them is so satisfying. And surprisingly deep. I really appreciate this style. The game sure needs a bit more work. More heroes, better matchmaking, a report function or something else to ensure no one ruins everyone's game, better or more creative cooperative missions. But the competitive modes are all some good chaotic fun, and there's no reason not to try the game, since it's bundled with the PS Plus subscription you already need to play online, so just go ahead and try it for yourself. And with that, I'm off. have a chill day. This has been Rady, and I hope to see you again on the next game. Or maybe in this game, but please go easy on me.